I've met him one time, and I stood next to him, sized him up. It's what we do as fighters. It's like, hey, are you a 70 pounder? Are you a 55? Are you a 35? Yeah. What is that guy? Yeah, man, that guy cuts a ton of weight. I don't think he's going to be big for the weight class. But that sure didn't mean a dang thing when Frankie Edgar had his reign, right? He's definitely not going to be a big guy for the weight class. But I think his style is very, very, very great for mixed martial arts.
I gotta be honest, like seeing Topuria, and I don't know him personally, right? I know him through, it's a professional relationship. I don't have a friendship with Ilia Topuria. I think he's cool, he's nice. I think that he's a champion through and through. But when I see him, right, he's not a big guy. I don't feel like he's a big guy. So to hear he says he can't make 145 anymore, to me seems a bit odd, because I see Makhachev, I saw Khabib as the champ. Hell, I see Chandler. And dude, Oliveira's massive. These guys are bigger, much bigger than Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way to say. I think him being a featherweight coming up to lightweight is not a factor. I think we saw that with Max Holloway. The only guy that put me to sleep was a featherweight, so that shit don't work. It's crazy. It's a crazy game. I think the confidence that he has right now is probably the what he's got going for him the most. I think his ability to stay in position and create leverage and power in his shots and move forward. He moves forward in great position. I think that, like I said earlier, all the champions are moving forward, for a significant amount of time. So I think he's a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely. He's very dangerous, very confident, and we'll see how it goes. Styles make matchups. We'll see what kind of matchup he gets.
Yeah, not just that too, Kamara, but he gets big, bro. Ilia Topuria is up to 190 pounds, man. So
really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they just did a little post on him. His coach did. He still has abs, bro. He was 187 pounds. He's 187 pounds with freaking abs still. What I'm saying is I don't think size is going to be the difference in this fight against Islam, because that's more likely because what he did, I think Dana White's going to honor him and tell him, yep, check that out, dude. 187 pounds with abs, dude.
Jesus.
Like, I think he's gonna fill in really, really good at 155 pounds.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he looks against one of those top 8 guys, because they're all very, very tough. But style-wise, I think Ilya's in the right spot. Those guys are the right age where he can catch him, 28 versus 35, and he's going to be a little bit quicker. I think he's positioned in a very good place to make a run at 155 pounds.
It's very interesting, the whole 145 is hard to make thing, because I saw him talking about drinking wine on fight week, and I don't drink wine for about 12 weeks leading up to a fight, so I don't really understand the whole weight cutting thing. I think that was just kind of an easy, low-hanging fruit excuse. Okay. I think it's more he's just confident that he can go up to 155 and beat guys, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a rude awakening. He could come in and walk through 3 dudes and win the title. Who knows? But he's very good at what he does.
In essence, because he had to. He had to make the weight to fight, Josh Emmett to get to the title fight. He had to make the weight when he fought for the belt, and he had to make the weight when he had the Max Holloway, gigantic fight right in front of him. But in his mind, he doesn't have to make the weight anymore. He's been there, done that, and there are potentially bigger fights. You can make a very strong case, as much as I love Alex Volkanovski, that for him, the bigger fight is Islam Makhachev, right? There's a back and forth, there's a history, and Makhachev has looked so good as of late. And so I don't think that motivation to kill himself, you know what I mean, to deplete himself, to cut massive amount of weight on fight week and all that stuff, I don't think it's there anymore.
He doesn't rely on his ability to throw big punches that hurt every single time. He's accurate, he's precise, he's quick. Those gifts, right, those abilities, those talents translate to different weight classes. Roy Jones Jr. won a title at heavyweight because he was fast and accurate and explosive. He didn't rely on his punching power past super middleweight, okay? So it's a similar thing here. He can move up because he's accurate. He doesn't rely on the ability to beast guys with one shot. He's a really clinical boxer, and he's well-rounded enough that it's not like, wow, my double leg didn't work. What am I going to do? He can do a lot of different things.
I do wonder, though, if Ilia is going to have to fight someone else at 155 pounds first. Just the other day, I seen an interview with Islam saying that he believes that Topuria would need a win at 155 pounds and earn his title shot. That seems kind of crazy to me that Ilia Topuria would have to fight one time in the weight class, moving up as the champion. But man, there is this talks of an event in New Orleans, in Dustin Poirier's home state. The timing seems to really work out. It would be real cool to see Dustin Poirier in his last fight versus Ilia Topuria in Louisiana, main eventing that. And if Ilia Topuria can get a win over him, that would create a lot of hype and a lot of popularity and a lot of pay-per-view dollars generated for everyone involved.
I think if I'm Dustin, I want to go out on a win. So fighting Max Holloway, I think he's beat him twice already. That's probably why he would prefer Max Holloway over Ilia Topuria. And remember, Ilia, he's knocking people out, but he can wrestle, and he's a submission specialist too. People forget that. So I think that's kind of the worst matchup for Dustin Poirier. So that being said, here's how I would. Here's how I'm thinking things might go. I don't
break
actually
it down
know.
for me. Yeah.
So I think they'll let I think they'll let Islam chill till October. I know they're saying June, but I think they'll let him chill till October, and they'll have him fight in Abu Dhabi. That leaves you with Charles and Armand. Those two have fought already, so you can have Ilia fight one of those two guys. So that's what I'm thinking.
I'll say this. I think it's most likely more. I would say this. If he had another one or two guys like Max Holloway and Volkanovski at 145, I think he's staying at 145 pounds. I think that he feels that he has nothing to gain by staying at 145. He already beat the two most difficult and most accomplished names in the sport. So now it's like, what else do I have to do? Money is a great motivator. And if there's more money fights for him down there, then I think he would stay. I don't think there's going to be more money against Diego Lopez, and I think there's just as much risk perhaps as a Volkanovski and a Max Holloway. So he says, wait a sec, if I go up to 155 and lose against an OG or one of the greatest in that division, I lose nothing and I can always go back to 145. But I want to get another couple fights, and I want to be a belt holder at 155, and then I'm out. And I think it's just he's trying to find the fastest track to being an absolute legend in this sport.
He's calm. He is composed. He's got dynamite in his hands. Now, dynamite in his hands at 145 is different than dynamite in his hands at 155. Him getting hit by the guys at 155 is different than him getting hit by the guys at 145. Him getting grappled and grabbed, picked up, slammed, going through the exchanges, much different at the different weight class. But he's obviously a confident professional, and with 10 pounds extra, he can put on a little bit of weight, cut less weight,
If Ilia ends up fighting Islam and beating him, he'll be the biggest star in the sport by a million miles. I mean, that's probably why he's chasing this territory. And I understand at least the argument if you've knocked out Volkanovski and you've knocked out Max Holloway, become the first person to do so, are the challenges thereafter exciting 145? For me, they are, but I can understand also why he might not be up there.
I feel like Ilia, people know he's good, but I don't think they know how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like people still don't realize technically he is so far above the game.
Yeah.
Like in terms of jiu-jitsu, his wrestling, his pocket fighting.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is with Ilia, he is a dangerous fighter and he can catch anyone. If he goes there and he's stoic and he's, even if the fight's not going his way, he will not eventually get it, but he's going to keep trying to find it.
And you've got a guy in Topuria who's not just flirting with champ opportunities. He willingly vacated the other belt to tell you, I did what I did there. I'm done there. I'm going in this direction. I don't think Makhachev's going to be at 55 long. Usman Nurmagomedov, his teammate, is coming eventually, right? There's been talks and plans for him to move up, if not welterweight, even middleweight at 33 right now, in still his absolute prime, to try to maximize the opportunities in front of him. But the window is right in front of us, and the breeze is beautiful. Matchmakers, open it up. Pay whatever you need to.